for the Moodles, okay? For the Moodle start, okay? So I think that's all for me. Any questions? Free, Lumi is free. I can do free. The attachment orang upload assignment sudah selesai.
Jangan sini kali.
Okay, so
Juga pria belanja orang.
okay, any more questions? No questions? Kalau tak ada dekat dalam okay, so you can see a lot of people already do the works here. Very good. Okay, you have sustainable recycling loop. Okay, this is the activity just now. So you can also upload your interactive video activities into Moodles. Okay? Okay, so I think that's all for me. I think so. I think I already covered most of it. Okay, so I will pass the next things to do about a bit about notebook. I think notebook LM. Okay? You can.
Okay, I know it's 4, so I will cut down every practical thing. I had some not. I can just say 1 or 2 things which I will do because I know it's very late. So if I can ask you just for 5 to 10 minutes, just for me to say something, okay?
Microphone.
Let me just turn on my Zoom. Because I have to have my Zoom ready. Excuse me. I'm trying to share my screen. Okay. I had a few things, but I will make this the super short version, right? Super short version. Super short version, so that everyone can go home. This means that I will scrap the practical parts, which would be one of the goals, but I do not have time for that, unfortunately. So I will just say 1 or 2 very quick things, and I will open this. So this is I added a couple of slides after Harry's presentation, actually. So this SWOT thing was from yours, because we're talking about AI, and basically I was trying to think, how am I going to present this part? And some of the ideas from Harry's presentation I tried to build into this. To make a very short assessment of the use of AI for learning, because it might seem quite obvious, but we didn't use AI for a very long time, and it's something that's existed for decades. So if I look at some of, so why does my lazy brain adapt to using AI for this instead of using some other technique? Well, a very basic SWOT analysis that I did on myself was, I have some strengths on this, so there is a lot of stuff that I'm reasonably comfortable that I can do, more or less well, in the specific field which I feel that I have some knowledge. I'm a civil engineer, some of you are from forestry and other fields, and so you're probably strong in those skills. That's my strength, that's probably your strength. Closely related to STEM, so most of us are from the fields of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, not from other fields, which is a weakness for me, like the field of humanities. If I want to teach people about AI for learning about sustainability, then I have to learn, I think, some other things. So, I mean, can I actually call myself a green leader if I do not have some of these capabilities? I don't know, perhaps not. That's at least a weakness of my own. I am anxious about some of these things. So I was asked to present a micro-credential in a few weeks, and I'm anxious because I do not have a lot of time, so I'm very anxious about that. It has to be high quality, and at the end of the day, it has to match the objectives of our project, because this is a funded project. It has to match the objectives that are in the proposal, which, as everyone knows from yesterday, only 2 people in this room have read, right? And I wasn't one of the 2 who put my hands up, so I'm very anxious about that. Finally, I have a strong desire to finish my work, okay? I want to sit back, enjoy a drink, and so that's my very strong desire about this. And so that's part of the nudge to move from, there has to be a nudge somewhere to move from not using to using AI for learning. One of the nudges is this one. If what you see on the screen over there is my beginning work from my micro-credential on using AI for sustainability. In the list that I got, one of the things I wanted to do was create an AI. If you want to create an AI, what we've been seeing so far is using prompting skills. That's almost like a popular solution, and very effective, but popular solution to AI adoption. Everyone can use it, you don't have to be a computer expert. That over there that you see is the opposite approach. That is a Python program that will allow you to create a basic AI for sustainability. So we're moving from that to this which we just did now. Okay, so please create a slide deck, blah, blah, blah. This makes me less anxious and my brain can move forward after this. So that's my very short, basic, I hope, acceptable SWOT analysis to kick off. And my point over here, one of the things that I want to show, so because this is something that I might be able to bring here, is the EU approach for this. And Professor Fadil was asking a second ago about frameworks on the use of AI. One of the EU documents, the foundational documents that we have for this is this one. You can look it up. I didn't put up the link, but all you have to do is look up the title. So the EU has created several guides, and this one is about using AI for research. But it also has a section on higher education. So the interesting activities, quizzes in this case, for our students using AI. But we have to be very aware of some of the skills, some of the challenges, some of the skill requirements that we have, and a lot of them are in here. Some of them that I think have to be mentioned that are in the guide. Hallucinations. When we talk about hallucination, it's just AI gets things absolutely wrong. And the problem is it's convincingly wrong. Okay? If you ask AI about stuff that you are experts on, you will find out those mistakes very quickly. So you have to accept that if you ask AI about stuff that you do not know about, it will also give you wrong answers. Okay? So I'm sorry, I don't know what's happened. You turned off my sharing. I will turn it on again. Yes. So, if you ask about legislation, it will invent laws. Laws that do not exist, it will tell you the date of the law, the number of the law, and the law does not even exist. So that's hallucination. That's a huge risk if you ask them how to do stuff. Second, the epistemic drift. What does truth mean? And this is something for people from humanities perhaps more than engineers, but you can see that in a lot of conclusions that we make. I was just having a discussion with Alfredo over here in the front about some of the things that were said about the impact of AI. How much water does AI use? Everyone cites the 3 bottles. No one asks if that's true. If you look up, you will find a lot of reports that say it's true, but then you will say a lot of reports that say it's wrong. What does this mean? AI is trained on all of that, the good, the bad, whatever. So if you feed AI with enough information that is wrong, that is the information you're going to get from AI. Okay? So that's not a hallucination, it's just reasoning from bad information, and that becomes a truth. That's the second. The other one is the data bias and the irreproducible results. Many of us are lecturers, but also scientists. If you want to develop a systematic review, for instance, one of the main things that has to happen is it has to be reproducible. If someone in Indonesia or in Porto wants to run the same literature review, if you follow a systematic review approach, we should have the same results. Okay? That's why we publish our strings and so on. By using AI to find references, you will find a lot of mistakes, okay? Or at least you'll find different results. Speaking of which, one of the things that Diana mentioned was if you use AI for literature reviews, you will find bogus results. Many of those are hallucinations. They will tell you about papers that have never been written, okay, by anyone, with titles, with a DOI and everything, but no one has ever done that. There are many tools that are better for that. This is one I've used recently, which is quite good. So Asta is good to find papers if you want to do a scoping review on something. I won't waste your time with this, but this is something that might be useful for you in the future. Finally here, the last challenge is the decline on critical thinking. We are all becoming extremely, extremely lazy. I mean, our brain is lazy. We've established that. Everyone's brain is lazy. And so if we can get decent, good enough results from AI, why should we work harder? And that is clearly the case when we generate more complex media, for instance. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of time to create a good infographic, a good audio, or a good video. If we can generate it instantly using AI, why would we go the extra mile to develop good work? Often we settle on good enough. Okay, so thinking critically and putting in the time to developing our own work, that is becoming a challenge everywhere. So we are all becoming lazier people because of this. Professor Fadil also asked about guidelines on the use of AI. This is an example from I am a director of a master course, of an Erasmus master course, and we have created guidelines for our students. Diana said, and she is right, students will always use AI. We will always use AI. So what's the point of having guidelines if everyone will use it anyway? The point is, if you do not say what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, any student can show up and said, no one said it's forbidden. And they're right. So if someone shows up and writes a ChatGPT thesis, that's not plagiarism. It's other things, and it's completely unethical, and it's rubbish. But it is possible to make a case for some of that being allowed. So what you see over there is a very basic guideline for use of AI. It's tiny, I'm sorry. You can zoom in your own on your own computer. But basically what I have over here, can I zoom it over here? I don't know. Yeah, I can. So in my course, it's okay, and we don't have to tell anyone anything if we're using it for brainstorming. It's allowed. Research and initial references, allowed. If I want to create a thesis or coursework, and I want to create a summary, I cannot use ChatGPT to do that. It says no. I could have used a yellow light, meaning yes, as long as I said that I used it, but in my case I said no. Also note that all of these rules can be modified by the lecturers if they want for their own specific courses. So the way we use it in my course, all I'm sharing with you today is what I use in my work, okay? If any of my lecturers wants to say, ChatGPT is fine for everything in my course, fine, they create the same table and it's green for everything and they can use it. So that's the program rules, and it can be changed for every individual course. Yes?
Do you have in your rules some example rules? Are there any specifications about AI?
That is what we use for AI for any purpose. And so that's only valid for my course inside the university. At the university level, we don't have those. And actually, no, we don't, because it's some, and I don't know why, and Professor Fadil asked a second ago, and some universities have them, some don't. A general guideline can be just as basic as this. It's one page. So if you say, you cannot use AI in your exam, which sounds very reasonable, all you have to do is write that in a line. So that is useful for my course. I don't have it for my university.
Now, why I'm asking is because we're quite liberal. There is necessity and obligation that every teacher has to write specifically how he wants AI to be used in his course.
Okay.
But there are limitations, as, for example, you're not allowed to give marks by AI.
Aha. Okay.
Like this. It's
Okay.
absolutely forbidden. Why? Because then human is not on the loop.
Yes, human in the loop is one of the it's somewhere here as well. That's a general objective, but the truth is, when you want to establish rules like that at the university level, it becomes a committee job. So everyone from every course has to have some opinion, and so that you make a basic table like that. So at a program level, I did it, okay? At a university level, a committee is involved, and that's a hassle. So this is what we are doing over there. Several competences are needed. Some of them are very obvious, I'm not going to discuss. Some are ethical, some are tech-related, some are critical thinking skills. I will not waste your time with this. This you've seen, so this was going to be my practical part, which I will skip. I will only say one thing very quickly before I send everyone home, okay, if I can. So instead of using, this is one of my goals, instead of using any AI, I was going to use Notebook LM. The reason, what's Notebook LM? I'll just show you what it is without using it. So Notebook LM, if you haven't used it, it's by Google, and here it is. So this is what it looks like, okay? And so I can just create one and start adding stuff here. I will show you, so basically the big difference is ChatGPT or Copilot is what we call a zero-shot system. Zero-shot meaning there are no pre-installed instructions, no pre-installed sources when we start. So zero-shot, we just ask stuff and the information is loaded in ChatGPT. We have no control. NoteLM, we add the sources we want. And so the replies we get are focused on the input we give it. This means it's less prone to hallucinations, and it's also less prone to, when we ask it, so if I want to ask ChatGPT to give me multiple choice questions, it might give me multiple choice questions from material that I haven't even taught in my classes. Someone else has taught that, but I haven't focused on that in my class. So not good enough. So this was going to be my exercise, it's not going to be anymore, but if you look at Notebook LM, this is one that I've done for another thing. I can just keep adding sources, so I have a lot of PDF files over here. This doesn't matter what they are, it's from my work, forget them. I can add web sources, so a site to the ICE database, for instance, where I have incorporated carbon information from materials. I can add all of those, so when I ask questions, I know that the answers will come from the sources that I gave them and not from some random source. This is very important for sustainability assessment. If you've done those, if you've done life cycle assessment, for instance, the results are highly dependent on local conditions. So the cost of the LCA for concrete in Portugal is completely different for the concrete from some other place, because it depends on transportation, it depends on resource availability, and so on. And so just opening up the free ICE database will give you variations for the same results that go beyond one order of magnitude. And so that's rubbish. If you say that something can be worth 10 or 10,000, then who cares about what your calculations give you? Your results are irrelevant. So this is one reason why it's very relevant to use few shot systems, which is what this is, to create your questions or your AI expert systems in general. Okay? So I've done this. What I was going to do, which I'm not, is after adding your source, you can ask Notebook LM to ask the questions for you. Same prompt that Diana used for you, you can use here. You can do one further thing, which I've tested here, which is what you see over here, which is if you want your quiz to be open in Moodle, instead of copying and pasting, which is boring, you can just ask, use it in Moodle XML. Do it in Moodle XML, and this is what it gave me. You see? This is code. All you have to do is download this or copy, paste into a text file, and then you move to here, okay? And I won't open it for everyone, but I will just let you know that if I go, sorry, where do I find my own? If I go over here, you all know about, oh, I'm a student now. Now that's why I don't have authorization. I will only show you this then. If I want to load that file into the question bank, all I have to do is one thing. Question bank, import, XML, and download your file over here. I have one such file, just to show you. This is a file from a system that a little program that I've created. Make it a file. XML, whatever, dot XML. Save. And then you just have to import. Those are the questions. So if I want to see the questions, they're over here. Preview. Okay, which is not a part of the bottom line. Triple bottom line, one of these. Okay? Yes, I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you. Then I wasn't going to show you this, but I will show you one thing then. Okay? Because this was also going to be part of our activity, but I will just show you the tool. This tool that you see over here is, I posted it on our Moodle webpage as well. Look at the Excel file. It's somewhere in the middle of our Moodle page. It's called the TOT Quiz Helper tool, something like that. That's a macro tool, a little program that I developed. You can download it yourself. And this is good for us to have a human in the loop situation. Instead of just having ChatGPT or NoteLM create questions for us, we can create the questions easier by using Excel. Remember one important truth. Harry's truth was much more fun than mine, which is the worm must be tasty for the worm, for the fish, not the fisherman. That's better than mine. Mine is Excel is the second best tool for everything. Okay? Second best. It's not the best for anything, it's the second best for everything. And the reason why it's the second best, it's very easy to type stuff inside Excel. So what my tool does, you can look into it yourself later on. If you want to create a multiple choice question, you type in this stuff. So this is a question, what's right, what's wrong, and it will give you an XML file at the end. And those XML files, I have them all over here. You can generate them later at home or use mine as examples. Short reply questions. Download that into Moodle and you're good to go. So instead of, I was going to show you two things. One of them, NoteLM to generate content. Second, use the quiz helper, which is this, to generate questions also from Moodle. Okay? Since we didn't have time, I took the liberty of creating lots of videos. So if you want to listen to my lovely voice later on, you have videos. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. I probably won't have to. So I don't know who's shutting or closing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Joao and Dr. Diana, for insightful session. And before we close, maybe any feedback from Dr. Harald, Dr. Harry, Harald. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh. Yes, Prince. Okay. Okay, please welcome Dr. Harald.
Thank you very much. Actually, should I give feedback on this session? Because it was planned that, I mean, should I do now this final session or not, or what? Or, I mean, that's why I came back. But if we don't do it, I won't die. Ah. Okay. Good. Okay, so last drop of attention. Thank you, Joao, for this very vivid and very focused introduction into AI. I was very happy about this. And I was very happy that you used my tool. Okay, so what have we learned today? And normally, if we would have some more time, then I would ask you. And by picking out some people, this is always my method. And so my students are always feared, okay, we should be a little bit prepared, because then suddenly Mr. Friedl is standing in front of me and say, okay, what was the first session today? What have we done? What was the didactic speciality? And then this person will say, oh, I hate him so much. And that's why, because I want to be loved by you, and nobody else by you. Okay, no. I think the core thing of today, beside the technical introduction of the afternoon, was how can we reach our customer? How can we make them think? Yeah, how can we make them understand? And by picking up your quotation, yes, it's a fact. People are thinking less. They're losing their abilities. Just think on the calculator. Yeah, I mean, how many people are still able to calculate? Well, when you go to buy some things, 10 different things, Do you have a feeling for how much it could be? Yeah, and few people have because they're simply not used to it anymore. And but anyway, this is not the main thing. The main thing is AI is in the world, and that means that we as teachers are even more demanded to stimulate thinking. So remember, we were talking about the didactic method of the Socratic discourse, where you don't tell the people what they should know, because they won't anyway, but you lead them by asking. Yeah. So, and this is, I find, a very nice example and a very beautiful example of leadership, especially in teaching. Yeah. Instead of top down, I tell you what you have to know and what is the big truth. Yeah. You guide the people in order to develop their own thinking, to starting from their own base of what they know, their own language, their own horizon, and from there they start a development by critical thinking and developing their own answer. And this is much more helpful instead of learning something by heart and blah, 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 the Brundtland definition or whatever. Okay, then we were talking about change and how we could bring this into an organization and how to initiate change. And, well, there was this small little instrument with the stakeholder analysis, but the main part was about why people don't change with pleasure, or when they change with pleasure, when they are seduced. Yeah. So, and keeping this in mind, this is how we have to create, how we have to arrange things. And yeah, at the end, you will do the replication seminars. Tomorrow we will use the time, mainly guided, as I'm right, by Alfredo. Yeah. we or you will create already course pilots, if I can say so, which should be helpful for your own replication seminars. And I will have the honor to support a little bit to Alfredo, and we'll come around and check how far this is fitting to the principles and to the ideas we have discussed today. So, in fact, right now, you might be able to be fantastic seducers and constructive manipulators, because at the end, you know, we are living in a world where it's full of information which wants to meet us and convince us, so we are permanently surrounded by manipulation. In fact, we have no choice than simply being better, more convincing, more seducing, but with an ethical background. So we don't want to seduce people to kill someone or whatever, but to contribute to a better world. I thank all the presenters, especially from the afternoon, and I thank you for your active participation, and I'm looking very much forward for a vivid workshop tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to all our supporters, especially technology, Mr. Rahman, our presenter, and, well, have a nice evening. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Harry, for the feedback. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end, our second day. Thank you for your active participation and energy today. We will continue our agenda tomorrow, January 22nd, 2026, which will be our final day of training. Tomorrow, we will focus on the preparation for the replication seminar. A few reminders, we will start at 9 a.m. Kindly gather in this hall before the session begins. Please have a good rest and see you tomorrow.